Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday week. My name's Lord Hillsborough, and with me on the line, we've got Victoria.
Good evening, my lord.
We've got James.
Oh, stop sounding so flipping miserable.
Don't mean my glass is well and truly half empty, boys and girls. I don't mind telling you. I've had a bloody chuffing awful week. It's been a horrible, absolutely chuffing horrible. We'll get into that in a moment or two. How are you two guys?
Do you know what? I'm absolutely fed up of it. I'm fed up, and I'm not. It's not even the football I'm fed up of. I'm fed up of the fans moaning and whinging. And Birmingham last night was just horrible. It was a horrible away end last night because all everyone did was just whinge and whinge and whinge. All right, we've lost a couple of football games, and it's not great. But let's stop flipping whinging. Enough.
I've stayed off of the social medias as much as I can because I didn't want to be a whinger-Rooney. But
what's the point? What's the point in whinging? What is the point in whinging? What is it actually going to get us?
I'm not whinging, but has it not affected you at all this year? I mean, it's that.
I was fed up. I was fed up for about 24 hours, and then I got over it. And then last night again, we lost. So I went and drank loads of beer, and I got over it. It's football. Football teams lose football matches. That happens, and I know it's not been great, and it's been probably one of the worst weeks we've had in several years. But I just don't understand what the point in our entire fan base just sitting there moaning and whinging. I heard more people talking about bloody Leon Clark last night than talking about the actual match that was taking place in front of them. People were more interested in the fact that United were winning and we're going to go second in actually how Wednesday were playing. That's ridiculous.
Now, don't get me wrong. I still don't think United are going to be up there at the end of the season.
I don't care. Who gives a toss? Who cares where United are or where United are going to finish?
Just coming back to your point, Jay, and I apologise. I really do.
No, go for it.
The only reason I mention that is if you think back to Forest a couple of seasons ago when they started off flying and it all went tits up and they're all excited and that kind of thing. And we've done the same sort of thing before as well. This is the beginning of the season, isn't it? And things are still settling down a little bit and all that kind of thing. And I'm not trying to sort of shine the proverbial doobie, if you like, but it is disheartening, and I still am disheartened about losing to the Blunts. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. I really am. I just wanted to stuff them and put them back in the box, and it didn't happen. And it's not so much that it didn't happen; it's the manner that it happened. I could have coped with losing the game if our players crawled off the pitch afterwards. If I'd have seen something in the team that showed that they were just fighting for it a little bit more. And we had that wonderful 20-minute spell, and I thought, this is it. We're doing it. It's going to be marvellous. And then it just went tits up, and nobody had a reply for it. And that's what really did my knockers in. Am I wrong?
You're into tits and knockers tonight, aren't you?
Well, it's all I've had to look at for the last few weeks. I've tried watching those games back, and I've actually found something new on the internet.
I must admit, I think obviously Sunday was gutting. I mean, I'm not an anti-Blunts or whatever. To be honest, I could not give a shit what they do. I do not care in the slightest. I've got friends that are Blades. I would happily see them, do okay because I know that they pay to go, and I appreciate that. I've got one friend she's been there through everything, like I've been there through everything at Wednesday. I get that. I think the thing, like you said, is that nobody came out fighting. No one was interested in that game whatsoever. And we were saying before the match that it could have gone 50-50. The fact that we've got players that have played in the Old Firm, they've played in the Tyneside derby, they've played in the Birmingham derbies, it could go 50-50. Either they'll be completely professional about it and just get on with the job like they normally would, or they'll step up. And as it stands, didn't do either, really, did we? And I think the thing that is kind of giving me peace of mind in a way is that I'm so negative about how we played that I'm not getting any abuse about it, because I've just been quite honest and gone, yeah, do you know what? We were crap. We were awful. And that gives them nothing to throw at you, because if you just say, yeah, hands down, you absolutely annihilated us, they go, oh, yeah, but Leon Clark is like, yeah, he played really well. Yeah, but he used to play for you. Yeah, I thought he was decent when he played for us, to be honest. I thought he got a bit of a hard time, and there's no sort of comeback from it. So that's the only sort of solace that I'm taking out of the whole thing.
Yeah, you know me. I always am as positive as possible, but this one really felt like a punch in the stomach. It really, really did. And as I say, if we'd have lost in a decent manner, fair enough. And I must admit, I mean, the goals that we did score, both of them, both Hooper's and Zhao's, were incredibly well taken goals as well. So if there is a positive there, that's it for me. But oh Jesus. It was hard work watching it back because I wasn't able to be there. I do like to watch the full game, obviously, so I know what I'm talking about for this, basically. And knowing the result and knowing that I had to watch that back was, it was like visiting a dominatrix all over again, honestly, and just getting slapped about and teased.
Yeah, right, Rudy, tonight. We will get an explicit thing on tonight. Yeah.
Well, I've not said beep or anything at all like that, have I?
True,
So,
true. Let's be honest, none of us are going to go out and buy it on DVD, are we? I think, you probably get a half-price copy if you go to their open bus tour. I think starts from the City Hall. Is it Saturday afternoon they're doing an open bus tour?
Come on. We can't argue with them having this because we've given them some rights to it for 6 years.
No.
And we absolutely deserve everything that we're getting right now.
Mm-hmm. They deserved it, and Leon Clark looked outstanding. And I must admit, he was my Dave of the time. I always stuck up for him. I always thought he was far too good for the positions he was played in, for the games that he was played in. He never really got the opportunity, and he absolutely stuck it to us on Sunday. And can't fault him. Fair play. Can't fault any of them. And that kid that they had against Reach, Jesus Christ, he was unreal, wasn't he? Was it Brooks? Was that his name?
I've got to be honest. I don't remember a thing about the game. I really don't. I remember themes, and after I didn't even know who'd played. I was like, "Oh, did Zhao play?" I was like, "No, it came on at half time." I'm like, "Oh, I missed that." All I can it's hazy memories from the game is that I thought that I didn't think that we were absolutely terrible, but I don't think we were particularly good. I thought we at times played all right, but United were better. They wanted it more. I think the problem was that we defended like a Sunday League team, and that was the problem. Actually, coming forward, we were. Maybe not quite up to our usual standard, but we certainly weren't terrible. But we just defended like we didn't have a clue. Like we'd never actually played a football match before. Tom Lees had an absolute nightmare, and that for me was the biggest issue that came out of the game was the fact that I'm slowly starting to realise that Tom Lees, when he hasn't got an experienced centre half next to him, is nowhere near the same player. He goes to pieces, and he's not a leader.
Mentor for Van Aken, is he?
No, he's not. He's not. Basically, without Louvens, he's a bit crap. And I'm actually now starting to see why Leeds weren't that bothered about him leaving, because obviously there he was playing with an inexperienced centre half, and we're now seeing what Tom Lees is like when he hasn't got a rock next to him. Louvens is not the world's greatest defender, but he's a leader, and that's what we really lacked on Sunday. And Tom Lees did not rise to the occasion. Van Aken had a bit of a nightmare, and bless the lad, he's still getting used to English football. Someone stood behind me at the Birmingham game last night said they never want to see him in a Wednesday shirt again, which is one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard. But there's been plenty of ridiculous things said by our fans over the last few days, hasn't there? And he got absolutely run ragged, didn't he? He got turned inside out for their third goal, and that just shouldn't have happened because we'd worked really hard to get back into the game. And I know we all look at it and say that we were absolutely hopeless and terrible, but we'd gone 2-0 down, and we worked and we worked and we worked, and when it went back to 2-2, there was only going to be one winner. It was ours for the taking, and we threw it away by defending absolutely abysmally at the other end of the pitch. And that was the difference, ultimately. That was the difference. United were clinical and took their chances, and we allowed them to do that. And we didn't. They deserved to win. And that's it. And that's kind of all I've really got to say about it. I think that the analysing that's gone on, and I've stayed off Twitter as much as I can do this week, but some of the stuff that's been said, I mean, you would think that that's it now, that our season's finished, that we've got absolutely nothing left to play for. There's no point in us turning up for any more games. That's it now. Season's done with. Let's all go and top ourselves because that's the end of the world. The way that people have been going on has just been insane.
I must admit, I think the thing that worries me is that, yes, defence had an awful, awful game. All of them did. They were completely outrun by Leon Clark as well, you know, and a lot of people are saying we made him look like Messi and he shouldn't have done. But I disagree with that because I think he's genuinely a good player. But I think the thing that worried me the most was that once that defence had fallen to pieces, it didn't seem like there was anything in midfield either. The only people that seemed to be in that game were the attacking players. Like as soon as the defence fell apart, there was nothing to go for in midfield. It just kind of everyone seemed to drop back because defence was having such an awful time, and it just fell apart. But like you said, obviously at 2-0 down, 2-1 down, and then to get back to 2-2 was brilliant. But I can honestly, hand on heart, say I'm not going to bounce again at Hillsborough because that is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. And those videos that just show it, and you think, do you know what? If that I credit to them for not sharing that more. As far as I've seen, my friends that are Blades, I've not seen too much of it, but I would be all over that because that was embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing, and that was the epitome of Sheffield Wednesday. That just showed the cockiness that we can get in us, and then just watch it all fall apart right in front of your eyes while you're still bouncing in your chair on the North Stand. No one bounces in the North Stand. We don't do that. We sit and we eat sherbet lemons. Like we don't do that sort of thing.
That's the South Stand. We bounce in the North. Well, we do at our end. I don't know about your boring bit down the middle.
In the middle, if you even stand up to go for a wee, everyone boos you. Like it's disgusting. Like how dare you get up before 45 minutes? But you know, it did look like it was coming together. I'd gone down at half time, or for half time at that point that Hooper scored. So I saw it on the TV. I saw the beers were flying all over the air on the concourse. It was an amazing, amazing moment because in that moment you did think, this is ours. This is it. This is great. We're going to score after half time. Straight after half time, it'll all be fine. And it wasn't, was it? It was awful.
Thing is, when you're right, what you say, that when they scored the third, we that was it. We fell apart. We had nothing. We had no response to it, and that is also a bit of a worry. Like I said, my memories of the game are hazy, and I've not watched the highlights back, and I've got no intention of. But it just felt like after they got that third, we were done. And we kind of just gave up at that point, and we just didn't have an answer. And you know, they weren't going to let another lead slip either, as well. You know, they just kick 7 shades or whatever out of us if they needed to stop that, to stop us having any more chances. So you know, it was a football match and we lost. Let's get over it.
Easier said than done, Albin. Easier said than done.
Well, it's not, is it? Because you just say to yourself, well, it's a football match and we lost, and I'm over it. You know, are you telling me you've genuinely lost sleep about this?
I've not genuinely lost sleep. I mean, it does rather sadden me that my grown man worried about a football match, but at the same time, it's not just a football match, is it? And that's the thing. That's one thing that did slightly tick me off.
It is, though,
no, but it's not, though, is it?
But it is, because you get 3 points if you win, you get no points if you lose. It's a football match. That's how they work.
Yeah, but it's not, though. It's really not. This is the bit that even before the match, when Carlos said it's another match to him, and it's like, it's not, though, Carlos. It's really not. It might be to you, but to all us fans that that live and breathe this and have to work with these chuffing filth pots for the rest of the week and all that kind of thing, it's different. It really is.
All right.
That comes back to what I said, though, when we went into it going, yes, it's just another match. And that was always going to go 50-50. That could have gone completely in our favour, that we went out, we did exactly what we've been doing for the last few weeks, and we battered them and walked away going, just another match, lads, see you later. Or we should have gone in at half time. And I know we came out and we scored the equaliser. I know we did. But maybe at that point, did nobody turn around and go, do you know what? They're kicking 7 shades out of us right now. Let's change this up. Let's not be professional. You know, Bannon, get a second yellow. I don't care. Just kick somebody. And, you know, to coin a Dan Fudge phrase, let's get a shit kicker out there. Let's do something. Let's absolutely annihilate them. When we didn't, we did just, as soon as that third goal went in, we just kind of went, oh, well, on to Birmingham. Like that was kind of it. There was no fight at all then. And the fight had come. It had come at 2-0 down. It did come, and we did fight back. And like you said, for 20 minutes, we were all right, you know. But I don't think, hand on heart, you could pick out anybody, really, bar maybe Jow, that had what you would class as a bloody good game.
Well, no, of course not. You don't concede 4 goals at home and then start talking about who's had a good game. It was a disaster in that respect. Can I just one thing that I do just want to question here, because I've stayed away from social media since the match, so I don't know for definite. But this thing about Carlos saying it's just another game, has anyone actually seen or heard Carlos say that? Because I'm not aware of the fact that he actually said that. I think
it was the interview before the match.
He said it's just another game. Those exact words. I
don't know if it's word for word, but it's along those sorts of lines. To him, it's not something along the lines. To him, it's not his derby or something like that. I can find the clip if you'd like me to. But it was
I think that this thing about Carlos approaching it as just another game is something that's just kind of gained traction from someone mentioning it on Twitter. I'm not entirely convinced that's was the case at all, because Carlos will not have approached it just like another game, but he will have said to the players, right, you know what, we're going to be we're going to be the bigger man here. We're going to go out and we're going to play our game and we're going to do things our way, which is it's a tactical decision, and it was the wrong decision and it didn't work. But that doesn't mean that he's just that he's dismissing it as unimportant or anything like that, because we saw when he spoke after the match in his pre-match conference during the week that he was obviously he was as peed off about that as any of us were.
Yeah, I mean it's a difficult one, and I don't know, players are players and fans are fans, and it can be two different things. And I do sometimes possibly think that players forget what it's like to be a football fan, because to them it's a job, to us it's essentially a lifestyle at some particular points, isn't it? And it is difficult. It really did kick me in the knackers, this one. It really, really did. But it was to be expected. It's a derby game. It's not the first one I've seen us lose, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Hey ho, life carries on, apparently. So on we go. Jay, obviously, we mentioned the Birmingham game slightly as well, and of course I was expecting us to come out and really sock it to Birmingham, and we kind of did in a fashion, didn't we?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was kind of same old story really last night, because we were by far the better team. I won't go as far to say that we battered them, but I think they had 2 shots, and we created quite a lot. The problem here is that, and I've got to kind of stay kind of true to my word here, because I said to my mate before the game, I said I really don't care about performance tonight. It's about getting 3 points. I said, we can play absolutely terribly as long as we come away with 3 points. So the fact that we actually played well but came away with nothing is not really what I was wanting. So yeah, I mean last night was horrible, to be fair. The crowd, the away fans didn't really make that much noise. There was a real negative vibe around the place, and I really felt it, and it must have transferred to the players. They must have got that feeling of just negativity, just whinging, just moaning, and it wasn't much fun at all last night. It really wasn't. And it's a shame, because, as I say, we did play some decent stuff. We didn't get the result, and it is a results business. And it is absolutely inevitable now that there is a hell of a big question mark hanging over Carlos's head. And Sunday becomes in terms of his Sheffield Wednesday career, it's the biggest game of his life for Carlos on Sunday. And we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, we should have won last night. It's as simple as that, really. We had enough chances. We scored a goal that on the replay it was a perfectly all right goal. It was disallowed for offside, but it wasn't. So that's a bit of a shame. But it shouldn't matter. We created enough last night to have won it, and we should have done.
Did anyone stand out, James?
That
kind of gives me the answer.
Not that I can think of. I don't think there was anyone that I thought was tremendous. I thought Fletcher played really well. It's a shame that he went. I'm guessing that he's still carrying a bit of a knock because he doesn't appear to be able to do a full 90 minutes. There was absolutely no reason to bring Jordan Rhodes on for him last night, and all the effective play that we'd had until that point was lost because Jordan Rhodes doesn't do what Stephen Fletcher does, even though we carry on playing the ball to him as if he is Stephen Fletcher, and that's a bit of a worry, and that's something that I think that Carlos probably deserves a bit of criticism for, because he brings Rhodes on and doesn't change the system to suit a player like Jordan Rhodes, and ends up with, there were some fans really getting on Jordan Rhodes' back last night and giving him some stick. And we're like, the thing is, he's been asked to do a role that is not his role, and he's completely out of confidence because he's got a manager that carries on playing him in a position and asking him to do a job that he's not very good at doing. And it's really not his fault, and it's really unfair that people are getting on his back and slagging him off like, you cost us £8 million. It's not his fault. It's got nothing to do with him, how much he's worth, is it? So yeah, it was, for a large part of the game, it was a pretty decent team performance. It wasn't amazing, and we certainly weren't outstanding or anything like that, but we were the better team. And I'd summarise it really as the fact that Birmingham were probably there for the taking, and we played pretty well. The final third just wasn't there. That final product was lacking a bit.
Absolutely. Again, it was a bit of a kick in the teeth, because obviously Birmingham haven't been brilliant, to put it politely, just recently, have they? So to sort of us to be there, sort of come back, if you like, it's again just after the Blunts game, it's just a bit of another kick in the teeth, isn't it? And as you say, I think Carlos, and I think maybe even the players are feeling a bit of pressure now, and I think that's one thing that's not helping. Obviously, Carlos did his £20 press conference thing where he got rather heated and started bashing about the 20 quid note, which kind of made sense, I suppose. Do you guys think that's showed the situation, if you like?
I loved it, to be honest. I thought it was great. I think good on him. I think it's a shame that Carlos falls into that category of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't right now, because he got absolutely berated for coming out and saying everything that he said and acting in the manner that he did. People saying that he'd lost it and he's lost the plot and all that kind of stuff. And it's like he just can't win right now. People are just gonna, and he's just got to take it. His team ultimately lost the Derby game on Sunday, so he's just gonna have to take it, unfortunately. But I thought it was great to see him really, really fired up. He's got some real passion there. I think it'd be a lot more worrying if he came out and he was just like, yeah, well, we lost and that's that. He really got some fire in his belly. Is that a Portuguese phrase?
Devil's advocate. He put all of his meats on the fire. But to play devil's advocate, someone I was talking to at work who's a complete neutral, they're a Norwich fan actually, and they were just they loved the Derby game, absolutely loved it, said it was the epitome of Championship football, that was the reason that it was on TV, etc, etc. And I must admit, a six goal thriller in a derby that's not happened for five and a half years, yeah, it probably was a really good game. Sky Sports probably rubbing their hands together. Sky Bet probably more so from all the people that put a bet on Wednesday. But he was saying that when he saw the Carlos clip, he didn't particularly think it was passion about the club. It was more passion about him being questioned as a manager. And I must admit, I'd not seen that. I'd kind of just seen it as a fan's perspective and kind of gone, oh God, yeah, he's really angry about this and he really wants to do something. And then obviously didn't at Birmingham. But I must admit, if you watch it back with that kind of viewpoint that like David had, you can kind of see that it was more sort of about, why are you questioning me, than why are you questioning the team, if that makes sense.
If it wasn't highly illegal to do so, and because the way I was feeling when I saw that is when Carlos was bashing about his £20 note, if I was so tempted just to do my own video where I just rip one in half and tore it into shreds and say, look, it's not a £20 note anymore, because that's how I felt. I felt like I'd been ripped in chuff in half watching that Blunts game. I really, really did. And at that point, it's not a £20 note. It's a mess. And I don't know how to put that mess back together again. And I'm not a football manager. Carlos has far more experience of this kind of thing than I do, but I do think that the team is suffering. And I don't know how Carlos is going to change that. I don't know. Do you guys think that Carlos can bring this team back together? Because I just think there's so low on confidence at the minute. Looking back at the Birmingham game, that's what I got from it, is that the team just looked a little low on confidence. And that's for the manager to sort out.
That's the problem we've got at the moment, isn't it? And I've always been on Carlos' side, and I think the problem is now that it's getting to that point where it's everyone's running out of patience with Carlos. We shouldn't be in the situation that we're in. We've got, I think he's like the third longest serving manager in the league. We kept the nucleus of that squad together. We shouldn't be having the problems that we're having this season, and I don't know what's causing them. Maybe there are problems behind the scenes. I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand it. I've got to be honest. I don't really care what Carlos says in interviews and stuff like that. I didn't watch the press conference the other night, but I did see the clip of the £20 thing. But again, I didn't take all that much notice of it because I'm not really interested in that. All I care about is the players doing the talking on the pitch, which unfortunately didn't really happen last night. And you do get to a point where you think it's seriously murky water for Carlos right now, and it's going to take him. He's only got one game now before the international break. I think if we lose against Leeds, then we could find ourselves in a situation. And I think even the biggest Carlos fan, the biggest advocate of Carlos, would have to concede that it would be completely expected if he was to lose his job after Sunday if we lose 3 in a row, because we really shouldn't be in the situation that we're in. We should be winning games. We've got enough quality in the squad to win games. We've got enough of an understanding between those players, and they know their head coach well enough that the stuff that's going on at the moment just shouldn't really be happening. So it does mean that it's a difficult position for Carlos, but he's a professional. He gets paid several million pounds a year for doing the job that he does, and he should be able to do it.
But that's the thing as well, isn't it? We were saying about it yesterday, and we were just saying that, yes, okay, if Carlos got sacked on Sunday evening, if something horrific went wrong again against Leeds, which, to be honest, I don't think it will. I do think that this could be kind of an ongoing saga, if you like, in that, we may well beat Leeds and may well draw, and then we go, oh, well, give him another game. And it might just continue like that. Or we win a couple. Oh, well, you can't sack him after this game. And it might just go in this perpetual cycle for the rest of the year, or at least up until Christmas. But he could, in theory, there'll be so many teams, so many chairmen now waiting for that minute that Carlos gets that phone call, and he will be straight in another job, 100%. Like, he's more than proved himself as a good manager at this level. He has. He's not achieved the end goal, but he's got there very bloody close twice. But on the flip side of that, you give the opportunity in the squad and the finances that Carlos has to any other manager in the league, and they would snap your hands off, 100%. They would be so excited at the opportunity that he has and the funds behind him. And, he's got players like Barry Bannon, Kieran Lee, obviously he's laid up in bed with his poorly knee, but Fernando Forestieri, he's got these players there that managers would kill for in their teams. But it is a total flip in that we can say that, and we can say, he should be doing more with it. But at the same time, if he leaves tomorrow, he won't be signing on, because he'll have another job within days or weeks. He'll be sorted, whether it's in England or whatever. He's made a name for himself now.
Yeah, and I mean, I am that massive Carlos fan, but even I'm questioning it at the minute, and Leeds is going to be a massive game, and of course we'll come on to that a little bit later. On a little bit of a happier note for the podcast purposes, I would like to say a massive shout out to Whitechapel Owl as well, because speaking about the £20 note,
that was my tweet of the week.
I apologise. I just wanted to give the chap a shout. If you haven't seen this, and I'm sure you probably have because it's been doing the rounds, it's absolutely chuffing hilarious. So just look for at Whitechapel Owl, or you'll probably see the retweet from every Wednesday fan on Twitter. It's chuffing hilarious. Just look for the paper swan. Brilliant.
Whether you're celebrating a birthday, a wedding or anniversary, maybe you've passed your driving test, or you've landed a new job. Well, whatever your reason for a party, the Riverside Cafe is the perfect location on Catch Bar Lane overlooking Hillsborough Stadium. To inquire about hiring us for your function, call 07989 856 054 or 0114 232 6121.
Right there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's crack on to a little bit of a happier news, shall we? Because although there is very little actual Wednesday news this week, we do have a winner for our S6 clothing competition, don't we? So let me just grab the details. We have put a little video out. We did a random number generation. Well, I do like a random number generation. It reminds me of my days as a bingo caller. But we do have a winner, and that winner is... I've got a drum roll. James, have we got any kind of a drum roll effect from your side or anything?
Well, no, because we're on our old system tonight, aren't we? We're not. The new system's crashed, so we're recording using some tin cans and some string. So I don't have a drum roll sound effects. What I can do is just do a drum roll.
That'll do. Liam Gray over there on the Twitter page was the 65th person to retweet the tweet and will be the winner of the t-shirt. So I'll send you out a little tweeties later on, old Bean. So if you wouldn't mind just give us a reply with your size and your address, and Victoria will deliver it personally. No, she won't. Wearing it around her face. But no, well done, Liam. And a massive thank you to S6 as well. S6 clothing, should I say. So, and please do have a little nosy over there at the website, because some of their clothing is absolutely fantastical as well. If you do like an alternative, you're not really a kit wearer, are you, Jay? You like an alternative?
I do, yeah. I'm not. To be honest, I'm not really a colours kind of guy.
You've got your Carlos coat now, though.
It's my mini Carlos coat. It's not a long one. He had a long one. Mine's just a short, cheapy crap copy. No, I don't, because I invariably end up getting so drunk after a game that I end up going in town. So wearing anything branded doesn't really work for me. I do like the S6 clothing stuff though. Incidentally as well, we're gonna have another competition in a couple of weeks, and I've kind of put this on hold at the moment due to the let's just say complete utter negativity around the club. So I've got a hat to win, which is a really nice kind of 1991 style bucket hat, but that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks or so after the international break.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Right, then, it's going to be a bit of a shorter podcast this week because, well, A, there's very little news. B, it's crap, the news that we've got. So, on to the Leeds game. Obviously, we mentioned this is rather an important one, this one, because, again, it's that dirty little chuffers from West Yorkshire as well, which, again, unfortunately, dirty little chuffers have been playing quite well just recently, haven't they? And I just say this could be a make or break game for possibly Carlos, possibly a massive chunk of our fan base, and it's becoming really quite important, this one. Again, I speak about pressure on the players and things, and I don't want to build this up too much, but for me, this is a biggie, boys and girls. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge. It really is. Two defeats. Before that, it was a draw, wasn't it? So 3 games without a win now. A team that's harbouring genuine promotion ambitions. You can't go 4 games without a victory. You may as well pack up and forget it if you go that long without a win. But I mean, they're in decent form. But to be fair, they lost on Tuesday, which might benefit us, it might not, because they're gonna want a reaction, aren't they, from their players on Tuesday. But if we're not more fired up for the fact that we've lost 2 games in bad circumstances over the last week than they are about losing at Cardiff, who've gone top of the league after beating them, then there really is something wrong. So I think it's game on Sunday. And yeah, I mean, I think winning on Sunday might just kind of save things a bit. I'm not going to go as far as say save our season, because we season's barely started really, but we do run that risk if we lose it, of the fact that we're that far off the top end of the table that you just think, gosh, we're gonna have to go on one hell of a run to get back in contention. At the moment, it doesn't look like we don't know where the next win's coming from, let alone where the next 5, 6, 7 in a row coming from. So it's dead important. It's mega important. Plus, it is another derby game, and there will be a lot of passion needed, and maybe it's a chance for a few players to go out and right the wrongs from a week before. Just win, basically. Just go out and just bloody well win.
If the worst did come to the worst and we didn't get a result from this game, all I want to see is the players having to be dragged off the pitch because they have just left everything out there. That's what I want to see. Yes, of course I want 3 points. Yes, this isn't just another game, but I want to see everything left over there and just nothing in the tank, nothing at all. Because that's what I want to see from once. If we'd have lost that game and the players had to be pulled off because they had nothing left, I could have understood it a little bit more. But
is that not?
goodness.
Would that not be worse though? Would that not be worse if we'd have played to our absolute best and given everything and still lost 4-2? That for me would be more worrying than the fact that
No, because
actually
then at least
we got it wrong and
known.
lost 4-2. We know that actually if we'd have got it right, we'd have won that game.
I just wanted to see a glimmer of somebody just caring about the shirt that we're wearing. After the last week of looking at these videos and posting these videos of us playing the blunts in years gone by and that kind of thing, and all those wonderful... I built myself up for this. It's completely and utterly my fault, don't get me wrong. This is just my break.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And seeing obviously the Phil King goal where, we lost the game, but he sort of ran off kissing his badge and all that kind of thing. And I'd really, really pumped myself up for this one. And it was just a massive kick in their knackers when it all tits up. So I just want to see the players just chuffing fight for the shirt. That's all I want to see, because I'll be honest with you, over the last week I've never felt as disconnected from my football club, which is a horrible feeling for any fan. Of course it is. This is obviously not something that's not just me that's feeling this, clearly, but chuff me, Wednesday. Just chuffing, destroy them, for Christ's sake. Just show me something, please, God's sake. But apart from that, do we think that we're going to have Westwood back and those sorts of things, or do we think we'll see Mr. Wildsmith in the goal again?
Well, he's damaged his ribs, hasn't he, or something?
Yeah, I think we're probably expecting him to be out for a little while now.
Oh, that's good. But again, I do trust Mr. Wildsmith. We had that little conversation at the beginning of the season, saying if we are pushing for promotion, does Mr. Wildsmith have the experience, the gumption, if you like? And I think he's proved that he has, hasn't he, so far? So
I think he's that bit older now as well. I think with a lot of goalkeepers, it takes up until like very early 20s to become that man that can stand in the middle of those goals and take on, everything that's thrown at you. And I do think, he's reached probably that level now. I think he's probably ready for it. So I'm not particularly worried about him. I'm more worried about the back four. I'm more worried about Tom Lees up against Leeds in the manner that he's been playing recently, without Louvens as well, who, from what I presume, is out for quite a while. I don't.
Well, he's back, isn't he, Louvens? But he's not.
Is he back?
He's not really good enough to be coming back into the team, is he? That's the problem. Like we all know that Louvens he's not quite gone, but he's on the verge, isn't he? So we could do with his organisational skills. I think we just stick him on the bench and allow him to just be captain from the touchline. Just shout at everyone from the touchline, organise everyone. Just on that subject, I am a little worried about Joe Wildsmith, and it's got nothing to do with him, but we've seen a few games now where I think even Kieran Westwood just feels like he doesn't know what to do to organise this defence in front of him. Like, I mean, he gave up, didn't he? The United match, he just gave up. And if he, as experienced and as vocal as we know that he can be, doesn't know how to organise the defence in front of him, what chance has Joe Wildsmith got? That's my little worry when it comes to that. I just think I don't think it's any reflection on him, but I think our fragility, is that the right word? In the back four. It is a nice word. In the back four could really end up causing issues for him. But
I think the youth and maybe enthusiasm on the inside. I think
but
we're saying about him being a bit younger. Maybe that'll give them the kick up. Maybe he'll just be more up for it. I don't know.
Maybe, but we've got that in the defence at the moment. We've got youth and we've got stuff in the defence. We need experience at the moment. We need a steady head that does. Do you think we could stick Louvens in the net? That might work.
Wesley Peacock, sign him up.
Yeah.
Right then, ladies and gents, that's your lot for this evening. Jay, if people want to get over to you over there,
hang on, I've got bits.
Oh, okay.
I've got two bits.
You've already cut out my tweet of the week. You're not letting James show his little bits.
Bits away, Jay. Bits away.
Right, okay. 2 bits. Firstly, half time on Sunday. I've said I don't remember a lot about the match. I actually didn't realise that I'd done this until about 2 days later. But Reverend and the Makers have got a new album out, And we all know John McClure is at Hillsborough every other week. He only sits about like 6-7 seats away from me. But saw him at half time, thought, I know, I'm going to go and have a chat with him about the album for the podcast. I don't, I've done a few drunken interviews before. I think this takes things to a whole new level, and I apologise to John. I'd like to apologise to my dad if he hears this, and anyone else that I'm related to for what they're about to hear and just how drunk I am. But here is, and it's literally 60 seconds because the second half was not far away from kicking off. So this is me chatting to John from Reverend and the Makers about their new album.
John, we'll not talk about the football right now, but tell us about the album.
Did it in Thailand, mate. It's doing really well. It's currently at number 6 in our midweek chart, so looking good.
How was the Thornbridge beer? How did that work?
Just we've been working with him for a while, collaborating for a few albums now, making beers together, and next week at the Leeds match we're going to have Reverend beer on tap. So,
what, here?
Yeah.
Wow.
You'll be able to buy it all across ground.
That's impressive. That's impressive. So this has not been the best 45 minutes of football, has it?
It's not been ideal, no, but we're kicking towards Cock second half. That goal's vital. I think we might kick on. Early goal second half, who knows?
Prediction?
3-2 Wednesday.
Oh, what a lovely interview, James. That was fantastic.
I think we've lost Lord H somewhere.
I think we have. That's why I thought, well, someone's got to step in at some point here. We're just sat in silence.
So yeah, that is the new standard that I've set myself in terms of drunken interviews. First one I've done for a while, but there
Fantastic.
we go. And my other bit, just to mention, and I'm sure you'll back me up on this, which is to give a mention for is it Lego Hillsborough on Twitter.
Yes.
Who are doing this kind of project, all to do with like a Lego version of Hillsborough, as the name would suggest. And they've got lots of things going on as part of that, including some photos that have actually been around for ages, but we only saw them this week. That certainly one of them looks like you. This Lego figure that looks like
me
you.
And you.
The other one, I wish that was me.
Photo and everything. It's brilliant. I love it.
He's got a lot more hair than I have. I've got to be honest about it. Like a lot more
hair. It
hair.
could be a woolly hat though. Like, it could just be like a black woolly hat.
Well, let's go with that theory. Yeah. But you can get your own Lego figure done, so it's worth going to have a look. So Lego Hillsborough on Twitter. Search them out. Have a read about what it is that they're up to. Because I think it's a really good project, and it would be great for. Something nice within our fan base at the end of what's been a pretty horrendous week. If a few people can get involved in that, that'd be brilliant. What's your tweet of the week then?
Well, it's been cut out, hasn't it? Bloody Whitechapel Owl. That's what I wanted to mention. But my other little bit, I went down at half time on Sunday, and I thought, you know what? I just need a beer. I'm just going to go and get a beer. And I went, and it was already about 40 people deep in the queue. Luckily, my friend Callum, hi Callum, was at the front. And Callum has never, in the probably 12 years that I've known him, has never, ever bought me a drink. And I managed to blag him to get me one. And he disappeared before I could give him the money. So thank you very much, Callum. But just on a side note for that, it took 20 minutes. We were the front of the queue. Well, he was the front of the queue. Took 20 minutes to get a beer because the girl didn't know how to work the pump, which was just fantastic. I mean, what more do you want on a derby day?
Whereabouts?
On my concourse, so on the top concourse of the North Stand, towards Penistone Road. It was just horrific. They were stood around talking. We're like, "Why are you talking?" She went, "Well, I don't know how to work it." So I'm, well, who the hell has hired you people? Like, I don't understand. I thought we'd got this right again. But anyway, I got a beer. It was for free. I'm sure I'll pay for it at some point and owe him about 10 for the privilege. But thank you very much, Callum, for my beer. Wonderful.
It's weird that, because I went down at about 41, something like that, because I thought the queue's going to be horrendous. And, I go to the outside bar at the bottom of the ramp, and there was no queue at all. And I got my beers, and I was stood back on the lower section of the concourse next to Gangway C. About 3 minutes of the first half left.
Right.
I don't know where I was when Hooper scored, because I missed Hooper's goal, and I can't remember whether I was getting the beer or whether I was stood underneath or what. I can't remember. I thought that it was very smooth. So yeah, outside bar. That's the answer. Go to the outside bar.
Definitely.
On the subject of beer, anyone that's listening to this during the day on Friday and is maybe heading into Sheffield for a few drinks later, keep your eyes open, because there's a chance that you may see me and Vic in Sheffield on Friday night, because we are taking advantage of the fact that there's no game on Saturday. And, you know, heading out for a long night of frivolity. But actually, we're a bit old now, so it'll probably be about, 3 beers and then Uber home.
Yeah. Probably 1 o'clock, and it's like, oh, it's past midnight. My time hop's come up. It's time to go home. That'll probably be it.
You want to stay out after midnight?
I know.
Seriously?
My time hop will probably be me and you doing exactly the same thing in Mallorca a couple of years ago. But yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to it, James. It's going to be good fun.
It'll be fun. Right, obviously.
That sod's not coming. He's just been on. Bloody
hell. I don't know. I think he's gone to cry into his milk or something. So Lord H has gone. If you want to get him on Twitter, as if there's anyone that doesn't follow him, L0RD_H. Your Twitter, Vic?
I am Victoria1867.
And I am at James Marriott. You can follow the podcast at TWWcast, or you can get our Twitter page and everything to do with us from our website, thewednesdayweek.co.uk. We'll be back next week, and you know what? We're going to be a lot happier because we're going to have beaten Leeds, and I'm just going to get a baseball bat and start beating up people if they don't cheer up a bit. So one way or another, but either through choice or through force, it will be a happier podcast next week.
Here's open.
Yeah. So that will do us for now, and we will speak to you next week.
Bye.
There's a chance here, a great save by Turner from McClare. Might come a terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in. You could have 2 goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
The West